Reading through the Hunger Games trilogy as many times as I have, this year being, I believe, my 10th read through, I always manage to find something new in Katniss's journey. Whether it's how I interpret something, finding a deeper meaning, or just new little details I notice the older I get and more life experience I obtain. All of this was, of course, very much heightened with the release of the amazing prequel, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, which if you would like to hear my thoughts overall on that prequel, you can click here to see that. And while I always had respect for Katniss, even though she did make some decisions that I thought were kind of weird, or taking into account that she is a hormonal teenager, I was always deeply perturbed by one very important thing. The fact that she and Haymitch agreed to a symbolic Hunger Games using the Capitol's children. Except, here's the thing. She didn't agree to it. Hey y'all, I'm the Geek Apprentice, and it is officially the 3rd year of Hunger Games month. Yes, it is also Zelda month, but you can click here to see a very old, very poorly made video explaining why November is Hunger Games month for me. I also have a playlist full of videos about the Hunger Games and its prequel, so you can check that out if you would like as well. I'm sure we were all incredibly disturbed by the end of Mockingjay, specifically in the books. I mean, we've already had a bombardment of loss, grief, and trauma, and then here we have this socialist interim President Coin actually suggesting a symbolic Hunger Games with the Capitol's children as a way to satisfy the thirst for blood from the districts. We all saw right through her tactics and knew this would not be a one-time thing and that the cycle of division and hatred was going to start all over again. Now, none of us were shocked when Joanna and Anabaria agreed to the proposal, but Katniss and Haymitch? That seems so out of character for them. I mean, sure, they're pretty vengeful, but really? So why did they agree to it? Well, truth be told, they didn't. You have to read between the lines and get a real deep sense of Katniss's character as well as Haymitch's relationship to her. And oddly enough, it was the film that made it all clear for me. To refresh your memory, the districts have won. After the bombing of Capitol children, there were few Capitol loyalists even in Snow's own mansion. The tyrannical president has been imprisoned. A meeting of the remaining victors, Annie Cresta, Anabaria, Joanna Mason, Peeta Mellark, B.T. Latier, Haymitch Abernathy, and Katniss Everdeen, has been called by the new interim president of Panem, Alma Coin. This title was of her own choosing, and when questioned about it, she says that the country is not emotionally fit to make such a decision. During this meeting, Coin brings up how the districts want revenge for their decades of suffering at the hands of the Capitol, and also that the thirst for blood is a difficult one to satiate. Thus, she suggests, her own idea, that they hold a symbolic Hunger Games as an alternative using the Capitol's children, and she leaves the vote up to the victors who know the games better than anyone. Naturally, most of the victors are appalled by this. Peeta exclaims that this was the very thing they fought against and gives it a hard no. Joanna jumps in excited because she knows Snow has a granddaughter and gives a vengeful yes. Anabaria, who was already a favorite of the Capitol and twisted from her District 2 upbringing, also votes yes. Beatty shares the sentiment of Peeta and adds that people must stop viewing one another as enemies, thus he also gives his answer as no. Annie Cresta knows Finnick would not have wanted it, and she also says no. Hence, it is left to Katniss and Haymitch, both of whom say yes. But why would they agree to something so horrifying after everything they've been through? Well, let's look at what both the book and the films had to say on it. Truth be told, in the books, we aren't given much leading up to Katniss's vote. Just that she sees that the cycle is now going to continue, it's never going to end, and that she weighs all of her options and then gives a yes. But then she pauses and adds for Prim. We'll come back to that later. Turning to Haymitch, she notes that he is looking at her intently. She wonders if he truly understands her. She wonders if this will be the moment that signifies just how similar they truly are. And thus he gives his consent. Now, the film actually provides us with so much more, and I'm always hesitant to give a film adaptation more praise than the book, and that's not what I'm doing here. However, the film allows us a little more to work with: voice inflection and facial expression. In the book, Katniss is practically dead inside and isn't giving away much even in her own head. However, I remember when I first viewed this film, Mockingjay Part 2, in theaters, when this scene came to light and Katniss gave her vote, I remember letting out a subtle, barely audible, "Oh, that's why she says yes." You see, they added a little line here. Prior to Katniss giving her vote, she asks, "I get to kill Snow?" Coin agrees, and thus Katniss continues with the line we know from the book. There's not much here, but for whatever reason, this extra line finally put all the pieces together for me. You must understand that I was not a book reader until the age of 17 when I began reading this trilogy. Thus, my reading comprehension and ability to notice little nuances and details was severely lacking. As I got older and became well-read in literature, both through personal enjoyment and for college, I began to finally see what the book was doing and how the book actually made pretty clear why Katniss made the decision she did, except some of it was made clear after she made the vote, but we'll come back to that. When Katniss asks, "I kill Snow," it was like a wave of understanding crashed and toppled me over. She was gaining Coin's trust so that Coin would have no suspicion that Katniss was planning to get rid of her. Remember back when Coin sent a still mutt-like Peeta to Boggs' team? Katniss and Boggs have a discussion about why this was done. Why was Peeta sent there? To kill Katniss? Boggs makes it clear that Coin never liked Katniss and does not trust her as she cannot control her. He poses the question of an election. Would Katniss vote for Coin? She hesitates, and Boggs tells her that if her immediate answer isn't Coin, then she's a threat. In the book, Katniss says nothing will ever change. With the symbolic Hunger Games, the cycle is going to continue. Of course she doesn't want this, but look at what just transpired. Coin has just decided she is president. No election, nothing. She is now the boss of Panem. It's made obvious to Katniss that she can't fight against Coin in this way, by voting no to the Hunger Games. Because even if she says no, Coin is going to find another way to control everyone just as Snow did. She has to stop the cycle, which means killing President Coin. But how? When? The answer is right there. She gets one shot at Snow, but he's as good as dead, either choking on his own blood or by mob. She need not worry about him. He's no longer a threat. She's got one shot, and it must be Coin. But she cannot chance Coin suspecting her. How does she gain her trust after all they've been through? Agreeing to her proposal. With that, it's sealed and Coin has no qualms about being near when Katniss fires her arrow. Now, to be fair, there was no guarantee that Coin was going to be nearby. Katniss couldn't have known that for sure, but she had to take that risk. She still had to gain Coin's trust somehow, no matter how she ended up drumming up a plan. And in the book, it's arguable that this was a very last-minute decision too. What happened when I was watching the final film and Katniss asks about killing Snow was that I realized that it was a cover-up. That she was putting up this front that she just doesn't care anymore, she just wants her revenge on Snow and she'll do whatever Coin wants. But as stated previously, the book actually does make this concept clear, and here's how. As aforementioned, most of this clarity comes after her vote, both in the book and the movie actually. In the book, she asks Coin to place this white rose over Snow's heart. Seems like overkill. That doesn't seem like something Katniss would do unless she's trying to do something, trying to add some padding to keep her safe. In the films, they reverse some of the scenes and have Katniss adding a nightlock pill to her outfit just before stepping out, with the vote having already happened. So as far as the film is concerned, why would she give herself the nightlock pill? No one's concerned about her killing Snow. They want that to happen. She would only add it because they might get upset about her killing someone else. However, in the book, she has one thing that should have tipped off readers to her plan. Her added blurb after giving her consent, where she pauses and says, "For Prim." Sure, maybe she said this to justify herself to those around her, but that wouldn't explain Haymitch. I believe this was for Coin. Coin would be pretty sure that Katniss was going to say no, so her adding that "For Prim" tells Coin that Katniss does not even in the least suspect that the double bomb which killed her sister was actually Coin's doing. But we, the reader, know that Katniss all but fully believes that Coin is the reason Prim is dead. So that extra little line is supposed to be reassurance to Coin of a false ignorance. Katniss had to say that as padding, and it was incredibly smart on her part. But what of Haymitch? I'm telling you, his face in the film when Coin gives her proposition is spot on. You know he doesn't approve. He doesn't look angry. He looks mortified. He's thinking about the vicious cycle too, that it's not over. Still, book or film, why does he say yes? As much as they kinda hate each other, Haymitch and Katniss really do think a lot alike. Naturally, when Katniss gives her vote, Haymitch has to begin reading her because what the even heck? In the book, Katniss tells us that Haymitch is looking very intently at her, even though Peeta is right there screaming for him to give his vote as no. We know that in this moment, he is thinking about the same things that Katniss was. The cycle, the unending cycle. Coin's power, Coin's trust. Why would Katniss need Coin's trust? For Prim. For Prim. All of this and a little bit of reckless trust, and he delivers his line, "I'm with the Mockingjay." It all makes sense. A little bit speculative, I know, but that's always the nature of discussions such as this. Frankly, I am appalled that it took the film to make me understand this, and I'm even more disgusted by the fact that it took me so long to see how clear it was in the books, especially when so many have told me that apparently to them, first read through, they got it right away, but better late than never, right? Nevertheless, this was one of the most fascinating things to discover over the course of my reading and experience of this series. Another example of the brilliant writing of Suzanne Collins. I certainly hope I continue to discover more upon each read-through of the books and each viewing of the films. Thank you all so much for watching this video. Be sure to leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Was this something that was obvious to you? Were you also perturbed by your decision? Did this change your mind on anything? Change your perspective? Let me know. And be sure to consider sharing the video and maybe joining the geekdom, as I like to call it, by subscribing. Special thanks to all of my amazing patrons, especially Joking Batman, Ryan Kirkland, Ryan Harvey, and Cheap Seats. Y'all, I say it every time, but I can't thank y'all enough. Y'all are amazing, each and every one of you. Thank you so, so much. By the way, for those of you who are not patrons, we do something called monthly movie nights, and naturally this month it's going to be The Hunger Games, and possibly a few of the others if we're able to schedule that many. So check out patreon.com/thegeekapprentice if you might be interested in that. Or even at a lower tier, there's movie commentaries, and I'm hoping to get out my movie commentary on the first one this month. Maybe even the second. I don't want to get ahead of myself, but I would really like to do both. And there's other rewards and stuff too, if anything sounds interesting to you, but you know, I know it's hard to become a patron sometimes, so if you want to, check that out. But anyway, that's all for today. Happy Hunger Games month, and thank you for watching.